Legacy. When we hear the word legacy, what comes to mind? Most of the time we think of, listen, did I get some money back from the person that passed away? Did I get a house, right? What did they leave me? Legacy really means what has been left behind, what's been passed down, what really has the ability to be long-lasting. Hi, I'm Deshawn Antoinette Booker, and I am blessed to say that I am the founder and the CEO of Maximizing Your Magnificence. And when God gave me this awesome opportunity to be able to deposit into the lives of people and allowing them to see that their magnificence is already within them, wow, I was blown away. But you know what God does? He doesn't always reveal to you everything in just that instant because we're not ready yet. And so I always knew that I was going to work with my brothers, Jermaine and Jamar Ferguson. I knew that they were going to be the executive team of Maximizing Your Magnificence. I knew that. That part I got. I was clear, and I said, yeah, I like that. Well, we have had to experience the death of my mother, Joyce Ferguson. My mother was a brilliant woman. Hey, no one's perfect. She was brilliant, and she was our mother. And on November 13th in 2015, she transitioned and became our angels. A beautiful thing, a beautiful thing. Yet, as I began to think and contemplate, could I continue to do this work that God gave me alone? And I answered, no. I'm just gonna be honest with you. And so God, being the gentleman that He is, He waited for me. He knew that I would not hear everything until I was simply available to surrender. And so as I began to go in my head about my brothers being my executive team, and we're going to go out and we're going to do this thing with Maximizing Your Magnificence, they were going to uphold their sister, and we were going to have this phenomenal dynamic team to serve others. Well, God knew that I was ready to receive what He wanted to deposit into my very spirit. And that was the Legacy Project, J.C. Ferg. And that stands for my mother, Joyce Carol Ferguson. And so I am so excited to offer you the revealing of what exactly is the Legacy Project, J.C. Ferg. You remember when we were in elementary school, and then we used to call it junior high or middle school, and we were taught how to write in cursive. We were taught this thing called handwriting, and oh, you couldn't wait to create your signature. It was going to be fancy because no one else should have your signature. I remember growing up that I always wanted to mimic my mother's signature. It was so sweet, so fancy, and I would always imitate how she would write her name, her signature. Well, a signature is more than just your handwriting. It's the imprint that you leave behind. And my mother's signature of life that she has imprinted upon Jermaine and Jamar and myself, her children, has been her 5 principles of living. Number 1, my mother strongly believed in education, Number two, she strongly supported being forgiving and always loving, loving unconditionally. My mother was a resilient woman. She knew how to bounce back. And yet, we sometimes didn't get that. Then, my mother's last pearl of wisdom, her last piece to her signature was to live life to the fullest. And so, with that, I am so excited to share with you a new platform in which my brothers and I will begin to create a universal creative dialogue and conversation through the Legacy Project J.C. Ferg. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, indeed, the Legacy Project, J.C. Ferg, is in the building. And I hope that you are doing so great today on this beautiful Saturday. At least it's beautiful here in Southern California. I am so excited to welcome you to another episode of our phenomenal show where we talk about healing the heart and how do we do that on our journeys along the way. I am Deshawn Antoinette Booker, your maximizing coach, and I am so excited to tell you who I am. So I am the founder and the CEO of Maximizing Your Magnificence. And what I do is I hold a space for women, for powerhouse women, so they can live their lives to the fullest, so they're always reaching their highest potential. And so I hold that space for them to do three things: to be intentional, live and work from a place of integrity, so they are always manifesting increase in their lives, and they are maxing out both their business and their lives in a maximizing way. I've really come in to interrupt and disrupt that negative chatter that a lot of women have when they are at a crossroads in their lives and they really want to land stronger in their marketplace. And so we have this chatter that's in our head that's telling us, no, we can't do it, stop, who do you think you are? And so I come in to disrupt that so that they are truly living in their highest potential with the formula that I've created called the Magnificence Formula. In addition to that, I have co-created with my brothers the Legacy Project, which you've heard a great introduction on. And in that space, we are holding the space so that we can allow others like ourselves, honey, because it's not just about us. It's about you and all of those that we are talking to and spreading this space of healing, recovery, rejuvenating. How do you really pick yourself up after you have lost a loved one? And we talk about it a lot, but then we don't really talk about it in depth in our culture, in our community, and even in our society. We just don't go as wide as we believe we should. And so we don't have all the answers, honey. No, let me tell you. We just don't. But we know that we have our journeys to share, our intimate journeys. We know that we have our experiences. And we want to hold that space for all of those of us who have lost someone, who's going through the trials and the tribulations. I want you to know this. This space is not a monologue. Okay, it is truly a dialogue, a conversation. So listen, we have comments. Put your comments there. We're always checking them. We're reading them. We're going to bring you into the room to have a conversation. We have questions and we don't always have the answers. We are offering what we have gone through and what our experience is. And we know that you also have an experience. So go ahead, put all of your comments there in the comment section so that you can be a part of this journey with us, okay? This is a safe space. I pride myself on saying that. This is a safe space for everyone to come in and to truly be as transparent as you need. Be vulnerable as you need, because I believe if there's something that I know for sure, if I'm being absolutely honest, healing really comes through how you're going to be honest with yourself, right? How are we going to be vulnerable in that space so that we can heal? And healing, I-N-G, that means it's ongoing. We are not here to give you a destination. We can't do that. We're not going to give you an oasis, right? It's not going to be, the perfect, answer, solution to all that we've gone through. But it's going to give us those moments that we can hit our milestones so we can continue to peak and rise and hit our life's journey as we were purposed to do. Okay? So, if you haven't been with us, we are so excited that you're with us. If you're watching the replay, I want you to put in the comment section hashtag replay. And if you have a comment, even after you're watching it and it's not live, we'll jump back on. We're looking at your comments and we're going to come back and what? Let you know we heard you and give you our insight on your comment. Okay. So you're always a part of this conversation. Always. I love to introduce my brothers with a little comedic, antidote, just so that you get to know who they are, honey, and their personalities and their style from when they were children, teenagers, and now adults. I'm going to introduce my first brother, the oldest of the youngest of the younger brothers, Jermaine. Honey, listen. Jermaine has always been a kid and now an adult who had this style, this sense of flair. He always had to, have everything truly immaculate and how he put his gear, his, suits and things together. Here's the story. 6th grade graduation. Jermaine tells my mom and my dad that he will not show up to his own graduation unless he had a white suit from head to toe with a Kango hat. Okay, this is what he truly believed that, his style was. He knew that. Now I'm going to let him add to this story, but I wanted you to know that I thought, again, if you've been watching our shows, Jermaine has always had to have it his way. Okay, he was not joking in what that was going to look like to him. So he did get this white suit and he did get this Kango hat and he did show up to his 6th grade graduation looking just as dapper as he did. So listen, without any further ado, we're going to bring him into the room and let him introduce himself. We're going to chime in a little bit more about that story, honey, because I think it is so cute and so funny. But at the time, I just kept saying, why does my mama and my daddy keep letting Jermaine get away with all of his shenanigans? So come on in here, brother, with your shenanigans. Here is Ferg.
What's up? What's up? Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, family and friends. Welcome to the show. Stay tuned. Have fun. Don't go nowhere. Enjoy yourself. If you want to go get you a snack, popcorn, chips, a sandwich, your wine, a shot of Hennessy, vodka, whatever you want. Get a beer. Just come and relax and watch the show and enjoy yourself.
Jermaine, thank you, Mr. Shenanigans. Okay, so you heard me in the introduction. Tell us, what was your thought process as a 6th grader? What grade? What age is that? 12.
Well,
yeah. What was your thought process in having to have this white suit and this Kango for your 6th grade graduation?
To be honest, I don't know what it was, but I just knew I had to have a white suit with a pink. It was a white suit with a pink shirt. I had to have some white shoes. Now the Kango part that's Easter, Deshaun.
Okay.
Kango is Easter, but that's a true story. I was not going to go to my graduation unless I had a white suit. And me and my parents, we went everywhere looking for this suit. Everywhere, every weekend looking for the suit. Couldn't find it because you got to realize I was doing a speech, so I wanted to be sharp. I'm in front of this big crowd. So we went to it's called Westfield's now, but back in the day it was the Fox Hills Mall. We went and the suit was sitting in in the mirror in front of. I said, there it is. We got it, bought it. I must have tried it on about 10 times. 10 times. And when the graduation day, you go to the classroom before you go get in line to go on the stage. Mm-hmm. My 6th grade teacher, Miss Turner, when I walked in, her mouth dropped. She said, boy, you are sharp. The classmates looking, because they just got on button downs and soccer pants and drew. I was in there. I was butter.
My goodness. Yes,
and I wasn't going to go. I was not going to go.
Yeah. Yeah, Jermaine, you have been always very, adamant about what you wanted, how things needed to be. And I remember you making mom and dad go look for that suit.
Yeah, right? we was way in Costa Mesa. We were to a lot of places.
Why did it have to be white, Jermaine? Was that
I must have seen something on TV and thought it was sharp. Yeah. I had to. I can't remember back that far, but I had to have a white suit on at my 6th grade graduation.
Wow. And you said how did you do on the speech? How did you do?
Oh, I did real good. They couldn't stand up because the seats were so close, but they wanted to stand up.
Okay.
And start
All right.
clapping. Yeah, the speech was good.
I remember.
Dad helped me with the speech.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Because at first I had one cue card, and then I think Mama was like, "Nah, you got to say more than that."
Yeah.
So Dad ended up helping me. I had like about 4 cue cards worth of speech.
Okay. All righty. And just so they'll know, we both had the same 6th grade teacher, Miss Turner.
Shout out to Miss Turner.
And we still talk to her. I talk to her all the time. We're very close friends. And Jermaine spoke with her just on Father's Day.
Yeah.
I called her and she that just made her entire day. So we have a lunch date with her. So she said we definitely have to have a lunch date. So we are very good friends with our awesome Miss Turner, who just was a phenomenal teacher, and she really just prepped her students to know everything.
Yeah.
Everything,
she was.
right?
Yeah. Awesome. She was real hard on you. Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to bring into the space Jamar, our brother, our youngest baby brother, Jamar. Now, Jamar's story. So Jamar was the baby, and it still is the baby of the bunch, right? So, he was really, able to, in my opinion, he was a little bit more, what's the word? Protected. Mom really was like, no, it's my bunky boy. No, Jamar, Jermaine was out doing his thing, the middle child, I was very, systematic about things and cautious. And Jamar was, oh, I don't know. Wait, what does that look like over there? So he had wanted to get on and ride the RTD bus, public transportation. He had not done that. So I remember him having this conversation with my mom and my dad about he wanted to ride the public transportation. Well, my mom was not having that. Like, Jamar, you're not getting on the public transportation. Are you serious? Like, no, son, no. It's a little dangerous. Or first I remember my mom saying, Jamar said, what is that? That's a bus, Now he wasn't like a little child. I think he was in middle school, but he'll come on and give shed some light to what I'm saying. And so nonetheless, a cousin of ours, Shatoni, and Jamar were allowed to, she was a little older than Jamar, and they rode the bus for a couple of blocks. Get this though, while my mom and my dad were behind them in the car. And so they just went a few blocks. I believe it was down Western. And that's what I just keep thinking. It was Western. And because we didn't live far from Western. And so Jamar and Shatoni got on, and Jamar was able to experience the bus ride, and then that was it. So listen, we're going to bring him into the space and let him add to this story. Our awesome brother, who is an adult now, an awesome, great adult, Mr. Jamar Ferguson.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey, brother.
Good afternoon. What up? Oh, man, that story is the best. I forgot about it until you brought it up the other day, and I was like, yeah, we got to tell that story. I would never forget it. Once you brought it back up, that was so funny. I was curious, okay, public transportation, like the bus, what do you do? How do you know when to get off? Where do you know where to get on? It's making turns and all this stuff. And so, yeah, mom and dad gave Shatoni and I some change. I forgot how much it was at the time. But I remember standing at the bus stop. Mom and dad were in the car in their Camaro waiting for the bus to come down. And I'm nervous and I'm excited. I had my change in my hand, and I'm like, when is it coming? I'm asking Tony, when is it coming? When is it coming? And here comes the bus. And for some reason, at that time, buses were like a different type of breed. They were like big and monstrous and loud coming down the street. So here it comes, all kind of dust behind it, and it pulls up, and I get on, and I'm like, what do I do? And Tony says, put the money in the coin slot. Yeah. We put the money in the coin slot, and then we find a seat. I'm sitting there because you sound like, I was protected. So I'm like, okay, what's this? Everybody on there with their shopping bags, kids, moms and dads. And then as it starts going, we start bouncing, going down the street. I'm looking out the window. And then I'm like, so how you know when to get off? And she was like, you just pull the little thing down. I said, can I pull it? She said, not now. We're going down. She was like, pull it now. I said, whoop. And they pulled over and let us off. And I got off. and got in the back of mom and dad's car, and I had to. I think that was like the best day of my life.
That is so funny, Jamar.
Uh
That
huh.
is so funny.
Uh
So
huh.
did you ever
Yeah.
get back on the bus again after that?
Yeah. When I got to high school in my
Okay.
sophomore year, I was in high school in Long Beach. I would
Okay.
take the bus and the train from Long Beach all the way to Hawthorne. That was like a
Yeah.
trip, but yeah, I got back on after that. And then after that, that's when I got my license that summer, and
Okay.
But we take the train now from where we live in North Hollywood. We take the train from North Hollywood to downtown LA, and it's the easiest little trip. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I forgot about that, and you brought that up. I was like, oh, I
Oh, I
remember. I
have
was
a lot of stories.
scared.
Yeah. I have a lot of stories from you too. I can't, this is just great. I love introducing you that way, and it just really lets our audience know and our viewers, who we are and,
Yeah.
our upbringing as we continue to honor mom and,
Uh
dad
huh.
and, really her legacy and just how they two came together. And, I just have so many stories. I don't know if Jermaine, I was not going to talk about the just came up in my head. Then we're going to dive right into our topic. But Jermaine, do you remember having to get up on Saturdays and wash the walls? Daddy used to make the,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Jamar, I don't know if you had to do that. Did you have to do that?
No, but
Of
I mean, I
course not.
remember getting up on Saturdays and cleaning.
Yeah, yeah. But
But
Daddy
yeah.
was,
No.
Uh huh.
sometimes it was like, okay, we got to clean these walls now.
Yeah.
We had to
Uh
Yeah.
clean
huh.
the
Yeah.
walls. He wasn't playing.
Nope.
So yeah, we had that structure. But then also, we were curious, and they allowed us to expand and to explore and to be ourselves. If Jermaine wanted a
Yep.
white suit, Jermaine got a white suit. If Jamar wanted to ride the bus, Jamar got to get to ride the bus. Like I said last time, last show, if Jermaine wanted to drive his sister's car and tear it up and make it all look like him, get tinted windows and all the big sounds, surround sounds, and that's what he did.
Yep.
So,
Right. 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 Right.
and I just said okay. So I'm just excited about where we are and where we're moving to. So thank you all for being here and allowing us to give a little bit about who we are and our dynamics, right?
Yep.
Today's topic, as we're talking about the Legacy Project, is bloom. How to bloom where you're planted. Now, a lot of my brothers and I talked about this. We have so many different great ideas that we're going to be bringing you. We're going to be bringing on guests. Actually, our next show, we're bringing in some guests for you. And so we have so many directions that we're taking the show. Today, we're focusing on blooming where you're planted because people hear that and it's not something that's far off, right? Like bloom where you're planted. It's a
Mhm.
real statement. It's actually something that people talk about, write about, speak on. It's in the Bible. It's scripturally in the Bible. There with a flower that withers away, how does it then bloom again? How do you bloom in the middle of your downfall? How do you bloom again in the middle of your tragedy, of your trial, your tribulation? What does that look like? Now, before we talked about moving on a little bit and what that looks like, but today we're focusing on, we are the first 2 months of when our mom passed. So our mom passed November 13th. 2015. And so we're talking about November to December. What did that look like for us? How do you bloom in that moment? And I want to just go a little bit deeper before I chime into our questions and have my brothers, begin the conversation. A lot of times we hear that statement around not liking your job, right? Well, if you don't like your particular job, how do you bloom when you're at a place where you don't like? You change your attitude, right? You start to go within and see, what's your, Jamar said, exit plan, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes when things happen, you lose a loved one, you don't have an exit plan. You just can't get up and just leave, right? You don't really know how to shift your mindset in the middle of your depression. If you're in a
Mhm.
relationship that you don't like, or you like and you love the person, but you all are in a down place, right? You can bloom there by, coming together and compromising. Well, how do you compromise when you've lost a loved one, right? How do you do that? How do you bloom in that
Mhm.
place? How do you bloom, in your neighborhood? You don't like where you live. Well, you bloom until you save your money, and then you look for another place to, settle in. Okay, but how can you do that when you've lost a loved one? You don't Saving money is not going to help you in that moment. So we're talking about blooming in the middle of the dark hour, which is what I always call it. But how do you turn the lemons into lemonade? And what does that look like? So today we're focusing on blooming. And I know a lot of people don't like that. They don't believe in this concept. Like, you can't bloom. You just can't, So what did that look like for us? What is that looking like for you, our listeners, our viewers, right? Remember that we have the comment box there. And don't feel shy about putting a comment or question, or if you agree with what we're saying, or you just want to say that moved you, or you like that something that was said really registered for you. We want to know. We really want to know. And so we're talking about that blooming. How do you stay motivated during your downtime, during that dark hour? How do you find your own happiness? And how do you visualize your future? And so that's what we're talking about today. And, what does that look like? So before we jump into our questions, brothers, anything you want to add to that introduction that I'm offering?
Only thing I have to say is, it's like we've all heard that phrase, like a rose growing, through concrete cracks and that nature.
Yeah.
We've seen like flowers, just like standing there on their own and looking so beautiful, but in the midst of concrete. And it's like, okay, how is that, possible when there's no garden, there's no grass, there's no water watering it, but somehow, some way, something help this thing grow in the middle of concrete. And I think that's a beautiful way of looking at, getting through life or going through something that's a hardship time. So yeah, it's like looking at the whole, like, a flower growing through concrete. Like, how is that possible?
Yeah.
Right. My takeaway on it is, you gotta just still stay motivated, stay on the course, keep on the same path. Don't look behind yourself, just go forward, stay motivated, and do what you're supposed to do. Stay motivated. My main thing is that you have to stay motivated.
So we're going to jump into that too. How do you stay motivated? Those are good concepts that I'm hearing. So, Jermaine, is saying you got to stay on your path. So how do you stay on your path? A lot of people want to know, how do you do that, right? Jamara said, we've seen the flowers and, in the concrete, right? Roses and flowers and those little, flowers in our neighborhood, like coming up through the cement. How does that happen? How do they bloom where they're planted? How do they get around that? What happened? Well, I'll tell you one thing. They sound motivated to me, right? That sounds like that's some motivation, to say, I'm not going to stay beneath, the cement, right? This
Right.
sidewalk. I'm going to be what I am, a blooming flower. And so we're really focusing on that. So we want to bring you today some questions around that. And our first question, let's just jump right into it. I'm excited. I really like this topic, right? How do you choose to fight for your life? So, brothers, for us, I'm really talking again. I'm narrowing it in, right? I'm being really laser focused with us. November to December. How did you choose to fight for your life? How did you choose to keep going? What did you do? What was tangible for you, right? So we always want to share, what did that look like for us individually? And I want to say this to the listeners, to the viewers. What I really appreciate is that my brothers and I, we all have different perspectives, insights, values, right? And so their way that they dealt with it and I dealt with it was really differently. We had some similarities, but it was really how we saw it individually. So that's so cool to me that we're not all saying the same thing. And that's great because everyone listening is not the same persons and everyone is who they are. So we want you to know that in your own uniqueness is how you discover, moving through the discussion of today. Okay. So how did you choose to fight for your life? Anyone want to go first? Or you want me to go? Anyone want to jump in, or where we going? What we doing?
You could go, Deshaun. Let's see. Yeah, you go first. Let's see what you have to say.
Okay. I wrote some things down because I wanted to really make sure that I was, being on point, right? Because I had to go back and remember what that looked like. The first thing I had to do was, when I say choose to fight, I had to choose to fight for Deshaun. Like, I was moping, I was depressed, I was hopeless, I was defeated, I was angry. We've heard me say this before in our past shows, right? I was not cool. I did not feel okay. I did not feel okay. I did not feel like, oh, I'm going to get through this. No, I was defeated. I was upset. I was angry. I was mad. I was resentful. I was pissed off, whatever word else we want to use. And so I had to decide at some point that I had to fight for me because I was still here. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was still living. I was still here. So I had to decide, okay, what am I going to fight for? And I knew that I still had goals and dreams. Like, I wanted to work with my brothers. I wanted to serve women. I wanted to still write and direct my plays. And I wanted to really do, have a voice in the community, in the world. And I had to fight for what was deep down in me before mom passed. I had
Mm-hmm.
to go all the way back to, Deshaun, what did you believe in before you lost mom? What did you believe in? Not that it was easy. I want to keep saying that. And so I would be watching TV. I told you all this before. I would be watching those reality TV shows, and I saw the women doing, they were launching their boutiques and their own businesses, and I was like, yeah, I still have that in me to serve. I still have purpose. So I had to fight for my purpose. I had to fight for, because I don't have children, right? I don't have a mate. So, but I'm gonna get to the next questions. I'm gonna get to my family in our next questions. But in this question, I had to choose to fight for me. I had to really say, what is it, Deshaun, that you want, that you still desire? And I still had desires. Like, that
Yeah.
was crazy to me, right, Jamar? Like, I really
Uh-huh.
still had a goal. I had goals, Jermaine. Like, I was like, oh, I thought I was so deep in the ground
Uh-huh.
that I didn't have no
Uh-huh.
more goals.
Right.
And so I said, you gotta fight for your goals. Your goals are saying, can you come and get us? Can you come, breathe some air into us, some life into us? We're waiting for you. I still
Yep.
had goals. So I had to
Yep.
fight for my life, my goals. And in doing that, I had to fight for, what would I hear mom saying to me?
Mm-hmm.
I had to fight to hear her saying, now, Deshaun, now come on, now wait a minute now. You mean to tell me you just gonna give up? You just
Right.
like what Jermaine said earlier. She said to him in 6th grade, you got to say more than that. She was always that push. She was always making sure that we knew, right, you guys? No, there's
Yep.
a bit more in you. Just like how she told Jermaine at 12 years old, getting ready to do his 6th grade graduation or culmination, she told him, you just got one little card. You need to say some more. So I had to fight for, what did I hear mom saying to me? Deshaun, you have more than one little card. You got
Yeah.
more than one card, Deshaun. You got to go ahead and get you some more cards and go ahead and give that speech. So I had to
Uh-huh.
fight for, what did I hear her saying? And I had to fight for, what was it that I wanted? And that's
Mm-hmm.
what I had to choose. It's a choice. It's a
Mm-hmm.
choice. So I believe that's how, yeah. Question number one.
That's great. Yeah, no, that's amazing.
Good. So for me,
Uh-huh.
during that time, I was not depressed. I did take some time off from work to reflect on my life, my family's life, and everything. And but I had to be strong because my two youngest kids were asking me, what happened? Why does this happen? And I remember, I don't think I ever told nobody this, when I took Jahari to go view grandma's body, he told her to wake up, get up, grandma, it's time to get up. So he had the most questions out of everybody. And he was
Yeah.
like, Dad, where's grandma at? What is she doing? So at that time, I still had to show him that I'm strong, be focused, stay motivated. Once I took the little time off from work, you had to get back to go to work. And you don't want to be a shell of yourself. You want to get out. You still want to talk to people. Don't go into a dark place. Try to keep going. Try to keep going. You got to still do what you got to do. And I had to stay motivated for my family. For everybody, just, hey, I did not want to show a dark side of my face. Now, when I was probably by myself, I kind of got down and everything, because in the back of my mind, you hear mom talking, and she, what she always say, boy, get out there, do what you got to do. Quit playing around. But yeah, I was never depressed. I might have been down, but I always knew that, you had to get better each day, better with time. And I had to show my family and my kids that, yes, I'm a strong man, and we have to keep going. You have to keep going to school. I got to keep going to work. We can have fun on the weekend, but we still have to stay the course and move forward. We can always go visit grandma at the cemetery. We'll always do that. but I had to just stay focused and keep pushing forward. And I couldn't look in the rearview mirror and go too
Mm-hmm.
fast. Looking in the rearview is not
Yeah.
going to get you nowhere.
Right.
I had to look
No,
out
that's so true.
my front window.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's good stuff. That's good
Yeah,
stuff.
that's real good.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that you had to fight and sharing that with Jahari, you know, because he didn't know. Yeah,
No,
that you had to fight for that. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Good
That's
stuff.
great. Yeah. For me, I was struggling trying to answer this. It was kind of hard. I was like, okay, what was I had to go back and look at pictures from back at that time in 2015, during when mom was in the hospital, and then even after, she passed away. And like, what was I doing? What was I like putting my energy into? And I came across a few pictures of me taking on a new hobby, something different for my mind to take off from what I've experienced as far as like losing mom or going through her sickness, to putting my energy into something new and different I've never done before. And that was going to the golf course. I never ever been golfing before, but my best friend Ed, he had got some new clubs, and he was like, "Yo, bro, let's go and like to the driving range and let's hit some balls. It's like, let's go out there and like, do something different." I was like, that sounds cool. That sounds real fun. Let's try that out. And when I went, I'm like, man, I'm going through what my mom what's happening with her right now in the hospital. And but I never told him that. I just in my mind I'm saying that, but I'm putting on this front like everything is fine, family is good, work is good, all that. But I'm like, oh. So I remember going out there, and like when I hit my first ball, I was like, ooh, this feels good. It's taking my mind off the negativity that I've been going through all day, even the weeks before. So having that happen, I just found a new hobby to take my mind off of what's going on. So I was fighting for my life by finding something new for me to do. And like we all have the same connection where we hear mom telling us something in the back of our heads. So mine was, Mama, I could hear her saying, "Boy, you better hit them balls out of that park." So I was just be hitting them and hitting them and hitting them. And I just had like a good time hanging out with my best friend, having a couple of beers on the driving range, and just like talking about whatever came up in life. But that's one thing I found to fight for my life, is to find something new and exciting for me to do in order to keep moving forward. But yeah, that's one of my
This is good, and I didn't know that. Jermaine, did you know Jamar was out there?
Now I wasn't on the golf course. We were just at the driving range. But that was still fun enough. But no, I never told y'all. I want to get back into it.
That's great. That's really good.
Golfing is fun. Yeah, I say golf.
It took a lot. Like a lot of pent up energy into what I was going through, and releasing that by holding the club and hitting that ball and seeing how far it goes. And it's almost like a metaphor for something. It's like, ooh, I see my life going far, going up and away, going far. And then hear mom saying, "Boy, you better hit them balls out the park."
Right. Yeah, I like that.
That's how I had to fight for my life.
And those that are listening. So if I'm just gonna wrap this segment up here, you heard, how do you fight for your life? I had to fight for my purpose, right? What were my purpose? What were my dreams, my goals? Jermaine is fighting for, to keep his children, abreast, and keep them motivated and keep them empowered and keep them healthy in their mental state. And he's, he had to fight for not looking in the rear view mirror. I love that, brother. I love it.
Yep.
And fighting for keeping to press forward. Jamar said, I'm fighting for, I'll create new hobbies to keep you going, even if they look like it's an analogy, for your life, that big swing and keep going. And so whatever you have to do to fight for your life, pick something. Pick something healthy. Pick something that is also has longevity, not something that's temporary, because you need something that's going to continue to motivate you and build momentum. I'm talking to those that are listening and watching us. You want to select when you say I have to choose to fight after you've lost your loved one, because it's pain. I mean, it's just, it isn't anything that we were built to accept. Okay, death itself. And so what do you choose to fight for yourself? And you will hear it, and it'll come and tell you. And when that happens, Commit to that. Marry that. Really began to say, this is what I'm fighting for. And again, it should be something that has longevity, not something that's temporary because you're still living. We've all heard that life is for the living. And when we're living, we still have to breathe and move through it. And some of us do it differently, and we honor that. Some of us,
Yep.
all of our times are different for our healing process, and we honor that. We're just using a platform to give you and I tools to move through that. There isn't any, um, as I said, solution to it all, right? It's not a panacea. Panacea is the cure all. This isn't a cure all. There is no cure all. It simply is, what do you feel in your belly? How do you feel in your heart to keep you moving forward? And if you take baby steps, we honor that. I was taking the baby steps. I took baby steps. I'm still taking those steps. And so we honor that. So just choose to fight for your life. Choose to fight for yourself and what that looks like for you. We're going to go to our next awesome question as we're moving through this conversation of blooming where you're planted. How do you bloom where you are in it, not afterwards, right? And for us, we're talking about the 2 months of November and December. How do you choose to accept a new beginning? And Jermaine said something great because we have, our meetings and we're talking about our show and, where we're going and what we want to, dive into. And Jermaine said something really good in our production meeting this week. He said, some of the questions you're going to hear us, we're talking to you all, they sound the same, they're similar. And when you're watching other podcasts, right, Jermaine, you said, it sounds like it's the same thing that we're talking, but there's different takes on it.
Yeah.
And so, right. And so this week, I wanted to focus on this month. I wanted to focus on choose. So if you see, the questions have, how did we choose? Because I believe, and brothers, I want you to jump in real quickly. I believe that it's a choice. What do you guys think about that? Do you think it's a choice to move forward or to stay stuck?
Yes, most definitely it's a choice. Yes. You have to put your get going, open the door and put your best foot forward.
Yeah.
It's a choice.
Yeah, it's a choice. And so how do we choose to accept a new beginning? Who wants to jump in there, and then we'll come right around back to me. How do you choose from November to December? What were you doing to actually choose this is the new beginning for our life? Like this is the new normal, as we hear people say, right? And we have to normalize that. How did you choose to accept the new beginning?
I like that question because some people will take on the challenge to accept the new beginning. Some people want to just stay in place. Some people don't want to choose a new beginning.
Yeah.
But you have to, don't look in the past. Don't look in the past. Like I said, you want to stay forward, keep motivated. You want to kind of be stronger than where you were. You want to kind of be stronger than where you were. Take on that challenge of being a new beginning. Like Jamar said, put your foot forward and keep it moving. You have to choose something different. Start new goals. And be proud of yourself. Each goal you meet, be proud of yourself. Congratulate yourself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Congratulate yourself. And and don't let nobody hate on you.
That's good.
And it could be small goals. It could be something real simple.
That's so true.
But you have to start a new beginning. You can't just stay stuck in the same place or take a foot backwards. You have to stay motivated. Once again, you have to stay motivated, stay focused, and don't let nobody get you sidetracked. No one gets you sidetracked.
Yep, that's so true. Yeah. I basically have the exact same thing to say. My notes, I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's the exact same thing I'm saying. It's like going back to what I said, like, choosing something like a new hobby to do to take your mind off of things. But what I also feel like, we live now in a society where everybody's doing new and fun things and being creative and trying to start something new, starting a new business, starting a new place to live, starting a new, job or whatever. And all I think that you have to do is like really humble yourself and look at what other people are doing and try to find maybe your happiness in what they're doing. So if they're like, starting a new candle company or becoming a chef in a sense, it's like, okay, you got to like try to like just put your toes in different aspects of life in order to find a new beginning to move forward with. But yeah, like Jermaine earlier, like you just said, it's like, just keep your focus straight. Of course, my thing is, I know the rearview mirror is there. Sometimes you don't have to look at it, but I look at it to keep me going. Sometimes I look at the rearview mirror like, okay, I see what's happening in my past, but that's pushing me to be a better person in a sense.
Right.
But I do understand what you're saying, where it's like, don't focus on the past, don't look at it. But for me, for some people like me, looking at the past, it helps me just go forward, be more motivated to accomplish a goal, even if it's a small goal. And our friends and family, no matter how big or small the goal is, you know who your real true friends are when they help you celebrate those small winnings. Even if it's something like, I don't know, painting your front door. That's something, and it's like your friends will help you along, like, they'll congratulate you, and it makes you feel good. It's the small thing. It's the little things that make you feel good. And then you express that to people who truly have your back, and they, help you and push you. That's a whole new beginning. That's a whole new life and outlook on life.
That's true. That's true.
Well,
yeah.
Listen, I mean, we are cut from the same cloth, same DNA, because Jermaine, you said, Jamar said, Jermaine said what you were going to say, Jamar. Now, Jamar, you said what's in my notes. Yes, and what was in my notes to choose a new beginning was I had to first change my perspective, how I was seeing things. I had to change from seeing myself drowning to new possibilities. But I had to take that a step further, and I started looking at other people. I started looking at my friends who unfortunately lost their family members or their parents. And unfortunately, I have friends who've lost their parents. I have a few, friends who've lost both parents. I have friends that have lost, a mother or a father. And I started looking at them. They didn't know I was looking at them. And I started seeing, what did they do? Or I would talk to them. I remember talking to one of my best dear sister girls, Erica, my soror. I was talking to Erica, and Erica lost her mom. Her mom first, and then 8 months later she lost her dad. And she would not mind me sharing this. And
that's a lot.
I remember that's a lot. And I remember talking to her, and face to face. And I remember, being at her house when we had to go and help her, with her father's, materials and things in the home. And, but I just remember looking at her in her strength. I remember looking at Joycelyn, when she lost her father years ago, and then she lost Ruby a year before we lost Mom. And I remember watching her and watching her sister, and how they developed and overcame that, And another friend of mine lost her mother when we were in high school, Joni. I remember watching Joni through high school, and as a young adult, pushed through losing her mom, and then as an adult she lost her father. I mean, so many people, that I'm talking about who lost their parents before we lost Mom. I started really looking at them and saying, if they got through it, Deshaun, if they're getting through it, remember, I don't think it's just I've arrived and I'm done. But when I saw them, getting through, I said, okay, I can do that. I don't even, I can do that. I can do whatever I'm supposed to do in my moment where I am. I don't have to be them, but I see them as my motivator, Jermaine. I see them as motivating me. I see them as me setting my new goals. I see them, as being my support system. And then there were people that I talked to, and just people that we see. It's like people, who've lost their children. And I'm going, they've lost their children, there's still some type of way people really do get through it. But it's the how. It's just the how. And so that is what motivated me to have a new beginning, where I started looking at other people that I knew in my circle and saying, and they didn't even know I was looking at them. I just, God could have been just bringing me to an awareness and showing me that. Maybe I wasn't thinking about it in the natural, but in my spiritual place, he was showing me. Now, look at these examples of your, loved ones and your friends that have lost their own loved ones. They're still moving forward. heart. They made a choice, but they did it some type of way. Don't mean we shouldn't talk to anybody. Jermaine talked about that last month. You should talk to people if you want to talk to someone, right? All those things are what we're saying are a yes. We're saying yes. But again,
Right.
just how do you choose? Because it all starts with you.
Mm-hmm.
It really starts with the individual, right? It starts with you. So, Jamar, I said the same thing, that I started looking at other people, not just people, my sister girls, my circle, like, oh, okay, all right. If they can do it, then there's hope for me.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what I was saying, right? If they can do
Uh-huh.
it, there's hope for me. It isn't like
Uh-huh.
I'm being them. I want to be clear on that. There's just hope for me. So,
Yeah.
choosing that new beginning is, it looks different ways, and it's short for different ways for different people, but we must choose. You must choose. As Jermaine said it, you'll be stuck and you would just be paralyzed. And that doesn't help you or, your family and friends around you. It doesn't just help. So, yeah, making those choices. I want to make sure, let me just see. I want to go through. Okay, I think that's some other stuff I want to say, but we're going to get through. This is some good stuff because I can stay on that one for a long time. Number 3, how to choose a healthy mentality. I'm going to let Jermaine go first. He likes this. This is his area. He likes the area of the healthy mentality. He's in healthcare. So, he's like, yes, that healthy mentality is powerful. How do you choose, or how did we choose a healthy mentality? And what I mean by that is emotional as well, creatively and spiritually. How did you choose, right, during November and December? What did that look like for you?
Wow. Good question. During that time, I knew I had to stay. You still got to stay healthy. Know that you're an amazing person still. Know that you're an amazing person. You have to stay strong. Even if, when you choose a healthy mentality, you might have to eat healthier. You might have to eat healthier. But what I did was I just, like I said, I had to stay motivated. I couldn't be negative. I wasn't mad at, God or nothing like that. I just had to stay on the course, keep my head straight and not on a swivel. Don't be angry at nobody. Talk to people. It don't have to be your friends, coworkers. It could be family members. It could be somebody off the street you talk to.
Yeah.
You just still want to stay strong and don't be don't do nothing negative. Don't be negative. Keep your mindset positive. You don't want to do nothing silly to get yourself in jail, caught up fighting people and nothing like that. So your mental, your psyche is what's way important after a time like that. So you want to stay strong, positive. You want to take walks. You might want to go into the gym and work out, let off some of that steam. But you want to choose a healthy mentality. You don't want to be mad and negative, because that's not going to go good.
Yeah.
You might be emotional at times. That's fine. We all get emotional. There's no problem with being emotional. People choose emotion different ways. You might cry. You might not cry.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to cry.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to, hey, let me take this challenge on. Because like I said, you still are an amazing person. You are an amazing person. So keep your head strong. You don't want to be negative. You want to be positive. And being in the healthcare field, it's dealing with different attitudes because there's so many people around. So you don't want to go, if somebody's having a bad day, hey, try to lift them up. Try your best to lift them up. Or you might want to just stay to the side and let them beat them. They're just having a bad day.
Yeah.
But if you get an opportunity and they're willing to talk to you, or you can cheer them up with anything, go ahead, try it. But if they don't want to be bothered, just, hey, we'll talk another day. We'll talk another day. But yeah, it's gonna be different, different situations at your job or whatever, in the streets or whatever. But you want to choose a healthy mentality and stay strong and positive.
True. That's great.
I like that. Go ahead, Jamar.
Oh, no. I was saying, I like the way you feel like, choose a healthy mentality by, talking to somebody. Like, I've always preached that. Even if they're not your friends, you can always just have a small conversation with a stranger about, something you may be going through, because they may have insight on something that may help you. They may never have experienced what you're going through, but we all got something to say. even if it's just keep your head up, you're amazing. Like you said, Jermaine, you're an amazing person. Keep going strong. I know that like whoever passes away in your life, they don't want you to be sad or feel sorrow or just be like so like down and out. You know, of course, they want you to continue to live life. Don't be depressed. Don't be, over drinking, overeating, oversleeping. At the time after mom passed, I wish I was more into meditation and doing things outdoors. Because now, like in this time of my life, in my my mid 30s, I've explored the meditation side of life, how breathing, how breath work can actually change your mental on your outlook on a lot of things that are negative to you. And so my health mentality thing is like I choose to do things that are healthy for me. I find myself relaxing more. I find myself saying no to things now, and that's like events, going somewhere, whatever the hell it is. It's like, you got to say no to some stuff, because if you say yes to everything, you're going to drive yourself crazy. You can't, you can't put yourself out there too much.
Yeah.
But just to me, it's like, having a healthy diet, being around good, positive people, relaxing, sleeping, and smiling more. Even if you're just sitting at a park and reading a book, smile while you're reading that book. It could be a horror story, but hold your book and smile. Like, do this. That helps a lot. You just turn your corners of your lips up. That helps a lot. Just to be smiling. Just to smile. Yeah, that's how I chose to live a more healthy mentality.
I agree.
Real quick, guys. Shout out to Miss Evans. I like this.
Oh yeah.
She said one of her goals when she was in college was to finish college, and her mom died while she was in college.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I like that, Miss Evans. I'm not gonna say your first.
Yeah.
But I like that. That's a good goal.
That's a really nice goal.
Complete the journey.
Yeah.
Yep.
The journey. Yeah.
Yep.
I think she doesn't mind if I think that's Yolanda.
Yeah. Okay.
And Yolanda, let me just say,
Yolanda,
yes, lost her mom. She was one of my other sister girls that I looked to. I saw how she moved through and kept going. And Yolanda, I was there with her when she lost her mom. I was right there when she got the phone call. And if I can just share this, and she doesn't mind, because I'm speaking to her strength. She was in LA, Yolanda. Her mom was in Chicago. So imagine that. Right. Imagine you trying to get planes and get tickets and trying to get there because her brothers called her, right? And so all of that on top of hearing that information and being there with her and watching her, and then watching her even as she came back to raise her own daughter and to still continue with her. She didn't just finish college. Yolanda has her own business, right? She's now moved to another state. She's doing phenomenal. She's always been doing well. And I know she's like Deshaun, but I'm just going to say it. She was another sister that I looked at and said, okay, then there is hope. There's hope. And she did, so it is to look at and surround yourself with those people. So Yolanda, fuss at me later, but this is for everyone else, I chose to have a healthy mentality. A few things. I started praying. I did go back and start praying, like, okay, God, I'm gonna pray. But I started, check this out, you guys. I started thinking about you guys. I started thinking about my niece, my nephew, my cousins, my brothers, my dad, my family. I started thinking about family. Like, oh, wow, wait a minute. I still have family, still have people that I love, that love me. We still can be together. We still can be who we need to be for each other. And that started to pull me out. Like, I started thinking about my family. I started thinking about, you just can't be over here, not available for your niece and your nephew, your cousins, your goddaughters. I have 2 goddaughters. I was like, what are you doing? And I wasn't hard on myself. No, I don't want people to think I was fussing, but I was having an awareness. I was like, oh, okay, it's a little bigger than just me. I had to choose to fight for me. But when my mentality, when they're calling me or we're doing things or still trying to get together for family events, I had to be available emotionally. I had to really be available, but I started looking at, I still love y'all. Like, y'all still here. Daddy's still here. We still love each other. That gave me a better mentality. My emotions turned around, and I mean this, when I hear my goddaughter say, God, mommy, when I hear my nephew say, Auntie Deshawn, and he gives me a hug, where's Bison, and my niece come and hug me. That really started making me feel like I was a part of a bigger, circle than just me. So it changed my mentality. I started being a little bit more happier. I started being more thankful. I started being more having more gratitude. I really did. And I started to want to be around my family. Like, okay, this is cool. It's different without mom, but we're still here. So that was really big. And I didn't think about that until this question. I didn't think about that, but I knew what was happening, but I wasn't saying I'm choosing. I just knew that and something in me said, you got family, friends, and family. And when they're calling you or you're calling them, you laugh, you talk, and so that started changing how I was seeing things. That started moving me from being in that dark place. And I started being thankful. And it's hard to say, remember, we're talking about how do you bloom? How do you bloom, right? How do you bloom? Bloom means God is going to give you your beauty for ashes. That's scriptural. That means that he's going to turn your trials right around for you to triumph. Sometimes we can't see that. Like that's just some words, right? But when I decided that my family was my family and I was like, we love each other, I started to be thankful in the trial, during the tribulation. I started to see your strength, Jermaine. I started to see Jamar's strength. I saw Dad's strength. I started to see, my niece, when she was cheerleading. Jermaine don't know this. Here I go. I'm about to cry, and it's okay. But watching her with the Divas of Compton was so powerful because it brought us together, in happiness, in joy, outside of a holiday. But watching her be talented and go for her goals, and it made me like, yes, let me continue to inspire her. So that means I have a purpose. So the mentality, when I say I was looking at my family, I was really looking at what we were doing. My sister-in-law, Jermaine's wife, who keeps saying, we don't talk enough. I said, sister, you the only one I talk to. I got 5 people I talk to, right? You one of them, right? And so I'm like, just those kind of conversations and that energy made me know that, wait a second, I can do this. My mentality can change. My emotional state can change because of the core of the tribe. My sisters, my close sister girls, even if we don't talk every 6 months, until then, they're still my circle. Even we talk every day, they're still my circle. So I started to look at the other people in my life, and that changed my mentality.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so true. I never thought about that. But yeah, that's same for me. It's like, after the tragedy that happened, it's like you still have other people, your friends and family who, well, you still got to live with and move forward with, and going to like you said, like, her cheerleading event, not just holidays, it's just like little stuff here and there. You kind of sort of forget about it, but when you gotta, when you think about it, like how you just said, it's like, well, I still have to, show who I am to my family.
Yes.
So you have to show who you are. You just can't, shut down from that. You just have to show who you are to your family, and vice versa. They have to do the same thing to you. Like Deshawn, you showed who you are, after, you know, you got your stuff together, like, hold on, Jermaine, same thing. It's like,
Yeah.
you forget about it until, you know, this like how you said it. It's like, yeah, you still have to you have to show up for
Have
family.
to show up for family. Ooh,
Yeah,
that's good. That's good.
Right,
Got to
right.
show up for family.
yeah.
Jermaine, anything to add to that or any comments that they're saying?
Not too many comments. Yolanda Adams, she said, "Hey family, I love this." And she said something. She said something about whatever you said. That's correct. I love you, girl,
Good.
which is cool. Yolanda, good shout out to Yolanda. But yes, that was good words from everybody. Good words from
Yeah.
everybody.
Oh, yeah.
That was good.
Yep.
That was good. This is good. This is good work. This is good
Good
work.
work. Good stuff, right? So
Yep.
as we
Yep.
move it, oh, okay, I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead. Were you saying something?
No, I
Oh
was.
no, I wasn't saying anything.
So as we move forward, we always want to give our listeners, you know, I love to give takeaways, right? What are our takeaways? Our first takeaway that we want you to know, when we're talking about how do you bloom, how do you, as Jamar said earlier, be that rose that pushes up through the cement, right, on that sidewalk. And the next time you all see that, really admire that, like, wow, look at the motivation of this flower, right? The flower was like, I'm not going to be stopped, okay?
Right.
And so I'm going to, as Jamar said, take that swing, right? So you want to first just acknowledge where you are emotionally. It's okay to be sad, though. It's okay to be whatever the emotion that you are. If you're going to bloom where you are, we believe that you want to just acknowledge where you are. You can acknowledge that. You don't have to hide it. You don't have to, you know, act like you don't feel that. Acknowledge whatever emotion that you are feeling, right? Just acknowledge it. Sit with it. Yes, I feel this. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to stay here. Like Jamar even said that looking in the rear view mirror for him is a motivation, as long as we don't stay there, right? And I totally get that and understand that. So acknowledge where you are emotionally, because when you try to act like it's not there, then that's when all the trouble comes, right? When you're hiding it and trying to act like it's not that, and now you're a facade and, you know, you're doing something else, but just being authentic to the emotion that you feel, right? So the second takeaway for me to give to you all is that's not the takeaway. That's the thing. And give up the idea that you must struggle. You don't have to struggle. That was something that I had to give up. I kept thinking that I had to struggle, that I was in this by myself, that I wasn't going anywhere, that it wasn't never going to get better, you know. So when you are blooming where you are planted, give up the idea that you have to struggle. You don't have to struggle. You can choose.
Right.
It feels like a struggle. We didn't say it's not a struggle, but you
Right.
don't have to stay there, right? Anybody want to say anything to that one? You want me to keep going? We good?
Okay, no.
No.
Okay. The next takeaway, number 3, is practice higher awareness. And that can come in however it comes to you. Jermaine talked about, you know, walking, right? Eating differently. Jamar talked about meditation. I've been doing meditation for a long time, right? Meditation is great. If you do Pilates, yoga, praying, you know, singing, gardening, you know, grounding. Grounding is when you take your shoes off and you want to go out into the dirt, you know, go to the beach if you want, like the waves of the ocean. Take a staycation if you can't go on a vacation, right? But practicing higher awareness. Jamar, where is that place you guys go to a lot?
Joshua, Palm Springs, Joshua Tree, Yucca
Talk about
Valley.
that. Yeah, talk about that.
The desert is the best. I mean, luckily, we know living out here in California, we call. Oh, somebody said this. One of our friends was like, Palm Springs is like the Hamptons of the West Coast. It's like when you're in LA, like that's like a cool, like 2-hour little getaway, and you shut down. There's, you know, well, Palm Springs is more a city, fast paced, but when you go out to Yucca Valley, Joshua Tree, where there isn't much cell phone reception or street lights, you get to see the stars. You get to breathe in fresh air. You see the nature, lizards, which I don't like, Jumanji,
Yeah, all the animals.
It's like, you know, that just like, and that's because that can be considered like a vacation. You're still in your state. It's just a couple hours away. You hop in your own car or whatever, and you know, go there and just like decompress. Tell everybody where you're going, so everybody know where you are. At least somebody know where you are. You know, because, you know, you never know what might happen, but like go somewhere to just like decompress and like turn off your phone for half the day if you can. Don't look at emails. Just like it's like, your self-care it'll change your life. Taking care of yourself It'll change your life. Yeah.
Mhm. That's good. Yeah. And that's a higher awareness, getting centered, whatever people want to do, you choose to do. But, if you're going to bloom where you are, you got to go
Mhm.
into self and realign. You got to push that reset button.
Yeah.
If that's listening to podcasts, if that's listening to the Legacy Project with us,
Yeah.
right? If that's
Uh-huh.
watching a show that you like, if that's reading books that stimulate you, certain teachers, pastors, preachers, mentors, you want to be deposited back into. Because when
Yeah.
we lose a loved one thing we know is that all of us have experienced that when you lose someone, a part of you, a lot of part of you goes with them, a lot,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So
Right.
you have to be deposited back into. You have to be filled up. How do you get filled up? What do you do, to get filled up emotionally, spiritually, mentally, how do you do that for yourself? So practicing higher awareness is, really helpful for how to bloom where you're planted. Because again, like I said at the top of the hour, you're not going to be able to always shift the circumstance. You may not be able to get another job. When you lose a loved one, that's a circumstance beyond your control.
Yeah.
Right? So it is not about something that you can just make a decision to change. You can't change that circumstance. So, again, the takeaways are: acknowledge what your emotional space is. Acknowledge that. That's fine, right? Give up the idea that you have to struggle. You don't have to struggle. And then practice higher awareness.
Mhm.
Before we go into our self-reflection and ending, I just want the brothers and I to give our last, thoughts. Jermaine, is there anything that we need to hear from the comments before we give our last closing remarks for today?
Reese
Reese
said,
said something. Yeah.
one
Hey,
woman
hey, baby.
said that his takeaway on this is kind of preparing him for like when his mom in the future when his mom passed away, because she's dealing with Alzheimer's disease. So
Okay.
listening
Yeah.
to us it might make him a little more a smoother transaction as
Yeah.
when she do
Uh-huh.
pass away. Which that's kind of correct, because that's kind of correct, because
Yeah.
Oh
it's
yeah.
still gonna be hard, but it might be a little bit more smoother than
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
might be a little more smoother. So that's a good statement, Reese. That's a good statement.
It
Thank you.
sure
We
is.
support you. Yeah. Go ahead,
Uh-huh.
Jamar.
And I just want to say that you guys, Deshaun and Jermaine, you have not met his mom yet. When I first met her 5 years ago, she was she was still able to walk, talk, and but like Alzheimer's, you're not always there focused.
Yeah.
But I remember when I met her for the first time, her spirit is just like mom's. I got in my car after I left, after I gave her a hug. I got in my car and I cried the whole way home because I'm like,
Wow.
your mom had the exact same energy, spirit that our mom had. And
Yeah.
I saw that. I saw my mom in his mom, and I wish I met his mom when she was 100% well.
Mm,
But yeah, it's really hard to see. Like we saw our mom in the hospital for what 6 months, just
yes.
seeing her, and then that kind of prepared me for the end, where I was like, okay, I'm getting prepared. And Reese and I talk about that all the time, where it's like,
Yeah.
even though she's still his mom is still on this earth,
Yeah.
but it's like it's probably start trying to I mean, first we all got to prepare for somebody's death, our family's
Mm-hmm.
death. But when
Mm-hmm.
it comes down to that, seeing her deteriorate day by day, it's like, yeah, it's this is preparing you for that last moment. But oh man, if y'all should have seen the way I
That's
felt when I met his
beautiful.
mom, it was like, that's my mom right there.
Yeah.
Like, that's the way she talked, her voice
Wow.
tone, her
Wow.
hug. I mean, even the way her hairstyle, like, it was like, oh my god, like, why am I just now meeting your mom? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it was absolutely insane, the feeling that I got from meeting his
Yeah.
mom, and I'm glad I got a glimpse of who she is at that time
Yeah.
5 years ago. But
Wow.
yeah,
That's a blessing. That's a
yeah,
blessing. That's
yeah.
empowering. Yeah, I like that story.
Uh,
I like that experience for you, Jamar. That's powerful. Oh,
yeah.
awesome. That's beautiful. Yeah, yeah, that's beautiful. Good
Thank you.
stuff. Um,
Yeah.
so okay, I'm just gonna say my closing before we were gonna say what our takeaways or our last remarks were. I just want to say, and then you all shared it. We're going to I always want to give a self reflection, and we have our closing video. Um, For me, today was about thankfulness. Even in your circumstances, in all circumstances, even when it looks crazy, because that's what they look crazy, right? They just look crazy. Even in all of your circumstances, you want to be thankful. The more that we're thankful, we build trust in God, in the circumstance, in our higher being, and you're building that trust, and then that trust allows you to just be more grateful. And so that's
Mm-hmm.
my takeaway. Just find a way in all of your circumstances to be thankful, even
Yeah.
when it's like, what am I thankful for? Thankful for family. Thankful that you have your right mind. Thankful that you're still breathing. Thankful that you have a support group. Thankful that you're not on the street. You haven't
Mm-hmm.
you're not sick. Whatever you're grateful for, allow yourself to really be thankful for that and speak to that as you're moving through those dark hours and those circumstances, so that you can
Yeah.
bloom where you're planted. That's my
Yeah.
last remark, brothers.
Shout out to Michael Blaylock. He said good talk. So he liked what we good talk.
Hey, Mike.
Thank you.
Yes, you guys
Thank you,
know.
Michael.
Wait, let me tell you who that is. That's our guy who did our videos.
Oh, hey, Michael, what's up, man?
Yes. Hey,
Thank you.
Michael, watch to the end so you can see the video, Michael.
What's up, Mike?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
want
man,
to
it's been forever.
say up to everybody, still stay safe, stay healthy, congratulate others when they make accomplishments, stay progress,
Yeah.
stay forward, don't go backwards, be proud of everybody, be happy for everybody, congratulate someone, even if it's a small step. I don't care what the goal is or what the step is. Progress, celebrate your progress.
Yeah.
Tell people, look, I achieved this.
Yeah.
But stay positive, stay healthy, keep wearing your mask, and if it's okay, get vaccinated. Get vaccinated so we can let's get out of this pandemic, because these cases are going higher and higher and higher. But stay safe, stay healthy. I love you guys, and thank you. And tune in. Make sure you tell family and friends to tune in.
Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of the vaccine, I got my first shot Thursday, and I'm feeling all the feels. I'm tired. I'm dizzy, a little nauseous. Like after this, I'm taking a nap.
Crazy.
But yeah, like
Sorry,
you said,
brother.
like Janae said, it's okay. Stay safe, have fun with life, and find something new. Find a new hobby. It's hard to find something new and stick with it, but just try something different. We have YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Everybody's doing something different. They're cooking more. They're making candles, like I said earlier. Hey, if you got an iPhone, you're a photographer. So go out there and find a rose or a plant or anything that's growing out the concrete. Take a picture of it.
I love it.
Upload it and tag us so we could, go back and so we could see that you're looking for the beauty in raw places.
I like
so that's
that.
Me
yes,
too.
yes.
Yeah.
Do that. If you're watching the replay, still make sure you do that. Put hashtag replay. Put your comments in. We're gonna always come back and respond. I love that call to action. Yes, I'm gonna do that. I can't wait to go do that.
Me too. Yeah.
I'm gonna do that. We're gonna do that. So we always want to give a self-reflection, and the self-reflection statement that I want you to go and complete on your own is, to me, hope looks like. And then what does hope look like to you? Because we need hope when we're in those dark hours. We need hope when we're trying to bloom, right, where we're planted and it doesn't look like there's no way out. So what does hope look like to you? That's just my self-reflection. Write that down. I want you to complete that thought for yourself. And remember truly that it's legacy that lives, it's legacy that loves, it's legacy that liberates, which is why we are on this platform honoring our mother, Joyce Ferguson. We're continuing the legacy and continue to have you share our legacy. We are going to have so many great extensions of this platform. Yes, we're doing it this way, but there are also live events that we're doing, and we're going to have some special guests on next time talking about. Well, you'll see. We're not going to tell you. So we're going to have them coming on next time. We appreciate you for taking your time to be with us. Jermaine, I just want to make sure I'm not missing any comments.
Michael, that's wow. Prayers out to you, Michael. He said he lost his son and he had to deal with a lot. So this talk, what we're doing, I mean, it's fulfilling for him.
Thank you, Mike.
Prayers out to you, Mike.
Thank you.
Yes. Wow. See,
and Yolanda made another comment about that she goes back to Chicago to celebrate her mom's birthday. Celebrate her mom's birthday.
All
Oh,
right.
good. Safe, good.
Yeah.
Safe
Good.
travels for her. Michael, we're holding a space for you
Yeah.
always, brother. He's such an awesome man. Thank you for being with us today. You know, we hold a space for you in recovery and healing and all of those that are listening, as well as ourselves. We hold that space, which is why we have this platform, and we're going to continue. We've been obedient, and we just thank you all for showing up and being here with us and allowing us to have a conversation. And sometimes people don't put their comments, but they'll hit me up later like they were listening. So if you're one of those people, we appreciate you too. And when you feel comfortable putting your comment in, we welcome you. We welcome you. But, still let me know behind the scenes. I like the backstage passes. You can come and talk to us after the show as well. So we're so appreciative. You all make sure that you stay safe and well. Remember, we have our closing video. But I just want to say thank you for this time. We love you. We're so appreciative of you for letting us come into your space, right? Yes, you're
Thank you.
hearts, and be safe out there. Use wisdom. Our grandmother always said, use wisdom. Just use wisdom. That's what Grandmama Lily Dale Thompson always said. Use wisdom. You want to use wisdom. So God bless you, and we thank you for being here. And we're going to now send you off with our signature, the Legacy Project, JC Ferg Project. Our montage. We love you.
Thank you. We love you guys
so much. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you.